You're listening to Lorna Páirce here on WLR, with thanks to PwC Waterford. Well, this week we're looking back to 2015, when the Daisha Camogian ladies football teams tasted All-Ireland glory in September. The Waterford ladies regained their senior status with an emphatic 3-14 to 10-point win over Kildare at Croke Park. Captain on that occasion was Ballymacarbery defender Linda Wall, and she joins me on the line now. And Linda, there were tears in your eyes when you lifted that Mary Quinn Cup up in the Hogan stand. It was a very striking picture from that occasion. Why did it mean so much for yourself to get your hands on that trophy?
I suppose, we'd been at it so long. I suppose it was the third time reaching Croke Park, and we were kind of beginning to think, would we ever win it? We were relegated probably, I think it was maybe 7 years previously, or I'm not too sure, but it was so hard to get back up to senior. We really wanted to do that, and I suppose it was just a big relief on the day as well. I'm probably extra emotional anyway, so
right.
the tears just started flowing, and they wouldn't stop. Then I'm sure I cried the whole time I was standing up there, but it was at least it was happy tears and not sad ones.
Yeah, was it just kind of a build-up of all those years, Linda, like the 7 years you spent in intermediate, and you were playing 15 years for the Waterford first team at that stage?
Yeah, yes, it definitely was. I suppose we were obviously so happy, but definitely for me, it was a huge relief to finally, I'd say, the biggest thing was to perform on the big day. I think that, it was kind of, we didn't know what way the game was going to go, but, Kildare were well capable of putting in a good performance, and they had very good forwards and all that, but I suppose we just performed so well, and it was just a big relief that we finally got over the line. I mean, everything was done for us. We had such good preparation. I mean, nothing was left to chance. All the matches that we had gone to, from the accommodation to the food to everything. So nothing kind of was left to chance, and I think that showed in our performance as well. I think the setup was really good. So I just think there was happiness and relief and everything just to get over the line and really perform on the big day, which I think everybody did.
And after losing those two intermediate finals, Linda, to Donegal in 10 and Armagh 12, did you feel that it was a kind of a case of now or never for that group in 2015?
Definitely. I think, you're coming, definitely for me, I was coming towards the end of my career, and there was a few more as well, maybe Elaine Power, maybe a few more girls that were around the same goal as myself, but we were just, I think it just all came together very well in that time, because we had the wealth of experience from the older players, and then there was a lot of not too old, not too young players in the middle that were so experienced as well, and then we just got this big injection of youth, the Murray triplets, Megan Dunford, Caoimhe McGrath, all these amazing youngsters who just went out and just didn't knock a feather out of them, They didn't care playing in all these big finals. They were winning all these, the All-Irelands all the way up, and they were, it didn't faze them in the slightest. So I'd say there was more pressure on the older players maybe because we had lost there before. But I think the mixture of youth and experience really just came together, and it was a case of now or never, I suppose. Every time you reach Croke Park, you have to try and capitalise on it. So it was great that we did.
And what did Pat Sullivan bring to the party that year, Linda, to help you get over the line?
Like I said already, I mean, the whole setup, I've never really been involved in anything like it before. I mean, there was nothing ever left to chance. I mean, he would check everything down to the last detail. I mean, in terms of our nutrition, everything, the hotels that we go to before games, everything was checked by Pat and double checked. And I just think, it felt like a really professional setup, and we had so much, put into us that, you tried to give the same back. And he brought a huge level of professionalism to the whole thing, I think, definitely. And attention to detail was second to none as well. So, I think if we didn't do it then, we would never have done it.
Yeah. And your younger sister, Aileen, scored 2-2 that day, Linda. How much of a lift was it for you as a cornerback to look up the field and see her kind of putting the head down and really running through that Kildare defence?
Yeah, I don't know what it was about that day, but Aileen just seemed to be 10% faster than she ever was before that day.
Right.
every time I don't know, was it the Croke Park field or the ground or what, the sunny day, that just everything just suited her. I mean, I think that they had a girl on her as well, a very, very speedy girl on her. And I mean, I remember she just took her on the first ball she got. She just took her on and left her for dead. And I mean, that gave the whole team such a lift, I think. Just to see that Aileen absolutely took this girl that was meant to be man-marking her on and just left her for dead and absolutely broke the net with a shot. So, I mean, when you see Aileen doing that and different players around the field beating their player, like, it really gives you huge confidence, because they started at a million miles an hour. They got a few early quick points and we were just looking at each other going, oh my God, this could be, you know, you could go down 5 or 6 points fairly quickly and be playing catch up. But yeah, Aileen's goal really set the tone, I suppose, for the rest of the day and kept us on top then for the rest of it. Yeah, she had a great game.
And like, you must have been delighted to see Michelle Ryan come off the bench, Linda, and really finish off the job. Like, she scored 1-3 when she came on and sub in that second half.
Yeah, I think you know, we did really dominate through the game, but in certain patches Kildare came back at us. And I mean, to have Michelle, like the player of her calibre, to come on, and you know, she's not a typical substitute player, I think, if you know what I mean, in just her experience, her vision and her finishing as well. So she came on and she just changed the game. Again, she killed it off completely, because there was a bit of a resurgence around the time that she was put on. So, I mean, to have her experience and skill and determination as well to come off the bench and to do that in an All-Ireland final was amazing. I mean, she's probably one of the top two most influential players in the game, and she only had a half a game, you know. So, I mean, that was such a boost as well for us. If we all started the game, she definitely finished it for us anyway. It was brilliant.
And players often say, Linda, like after winning an All-Ireland, that the 10 or 15 minutes afterwards in the dressing room are really precious moments. Can you describe what happened when you brought the cup back in?
Well, I just found that it was so long even. We got a huge amount of time out in the field as well, and before we even got into the dressing room. So I felt like I was out on the field definitely for over an hour after it, and it may have been shorter, but I really enjoyed the out in the field afterwards, and all the young girls around the pitch screeching and screaming and wanting to see the cup. And I remember there was a funny incident. Myself and Gráinne Keneally, they were ushering us off the field after all the kind of celebrations, and said, you have to leave the field now. The senior teams are coming out. They're going to be out here in 2 minutes, like, you know. And there was a little group of girls down the bottom corner, and they hadn't, you know, they were down the far side of the pitch, and they were screeching, saying Waterford, chanting Waterford. And the Wareforeigners did not want us to go down, or the Wares didn't want us to go down there, but we just kind of burst through them and brought the cup down. So that was a bit of a funny incident. We thought we could do anything once we were after winning the All-Ireland, I suppose, but it was great to show the little girls the cup anyway. Yeah, and back in the dressing room, it was just, I think everyone was exhausted when they were in there, and it was just such a happy place compared to the 2 years that we lost. You know, it was like a morgue. So I suppose afterwards on the field, seeing our families, and, you know, my mother and father were there, and my husband, well, he wasn't my husband at the time, but he was there as well, and, you know, all of our families and partners and friends were there. So that was amazing to see that. And, you know, the ladies, you can kind of, there was a great crowd there, but you can kind of find your family in the crowd, so it was super.
Are they kind of memories for life, Linda, like winning with your sisters, Mairead and Aileen, and also seeing your parents, who have probably been your biggest fans over the years?
Oh yeah, they never missed a game, and just to see them, like, you know, Dad was, you know, in the stand and he was nearly upset, you know, and you never see that, like, from your father. But It was brilliant because they followed us all over the country, and how many times that we had fallen at maybe the semi-final hurdle or the quarter final, and they were all at those games. So it was a great reward for all the supporters as well, the excitement. And definitely it was just super to have my two sisters on the field as well. It was just great. And thinking back, we were fairly lucky with injuries and everything. The panel was fairly, I don't think we had any big injuries anyway. So the panel was fairly fit, and so everyone was kind of available to us. So that was good too.
And that Sunday night, Linda, you brought the cup back to Ballymacarbery and Dungarvan, as so many Waterford teams had done so in the past during the 90s. What do you remember about that?
Well, I remember distinctly that we had no knowledge at all that we were going to be going back through Ballymacarbery. We never went through Ballymacarbery when we were going to Dublin at all. So that wasn't the route at all. But Pat and Dick called me up to the front of the bus and on the way down, and they said, we're going through Ballymac on the way home. And I said, what? I couldn't believe they were saying this to me. So that was actually a very special memory as well that I had. And they said, yeah, we're bringing it through the captain's village. And it was just amazing to that they had thought of that, and that they were changing the route home to go through Ballymac. And so that was amazing. So I just couldn't believe they were telling me. Then I was telling the rest of the girls, and we were on the phones then trying to get a good crowd in the village. But there was a huge crowd there, and it was super. And we went on to Dungarvan then to an even bigger crowd. So that was brilliant.
Yeah, that was a really lovely touch from Pat, Linda, and must have meant so much to you, because you would have seen those Waterford teams of the 90s coming back to Ballymacarbery with the cup and going into the school as well with the All-Ireland trophies.
I remember Siobhan Murphy was the last captain, and I was actually outside Ducey's pub as a young one, and I couldn't believe her getting off the bus, and I just thought she was the bee's knees getting off the bus with the cup, and so many people around, and it was just amazing that I got to do that, and that our team, especially girls from Ballymac, got to go back where we started out. And it was great for all the young girls in our club as well to see us come back. And I think they just thought we were great. We even had to kind of spread out the crowd to get off the bus and everything. So it was funny. It was something we'd probably never experience again.
And do you have any mementos from that day, Linda, jersey or photos that you really treasure?
Oh, definitely. I'll never give up my jersey. Now I give away a lot of jerseys over my time to all the little club the club girls. I give away lots of jerseys and shorts and tops, but I'll never give away that jersey. I think I was number 4, so that jersey is definitely staying in the wardrobe. But I have all the paper clippings and everything, and I'm going to make it into a scrapbook someday. But I got some photos. Well, I was given some photos as presents and from Sports File and different things, and they're hanging up, a few of them. So that's lovely. The photos are great memories as well.
Well, Linda, great to get your memories of 2015. Thanks so much for taking our call today.
No problem at all, Tomas. Thanks a million.